everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 13 in season number 8 of the NOFSRL Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We're here for the first time ever at the North Wilkesboro Speedway historical short track in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. 0.625 miles here, and it's 80 laps of action with no pit stops, so it's gonna be an interesting one here today. And not only that, it's our throwback weekend for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Half of these guys have some nice looking throwbacks on their machines, including the two drivers starting on the front row. But if you saw last night's race, you know this is going to be a good race as well. Julius Anderson was actually on the pole last night, and I'm going to spoil the race right now, so if you don't want the race from last night spoiled, mute the video right now. But Julius Anderson dominated last night as he started on the pole, but two drivers, Nathan Stapleton and Zachary Fitzwater, took tires midway through the race as they had fallen back midway through the field. And then they clawed their way through the field on the last green flag run and passed Julius Anderson on the fresh tires to take home the race victory. It came out of nowhere, but we want to watch for that here tonight because there are no scheduled pit stops in this race. They can go the whole distance on one tank of gas, but that doesn't mean that the tire wear is not going to happen either, and these tires will get worn as this race goes along, even more so than what they did in last night's race, because we got 20 more laps in this one than in the throwback series. So I'm alongside Joe Rutkowski. Great to do a race with you again, by the way. What do you think is going to happen with that strategy? After everyone saw that race last night, do you think these guys are going to go ahead and play that strategy out and take tires, especially if you're back in the field? It might work out for you later on in the race.
If you run long enough and the tires are worn out enough that it will work out to come down pit road if the caution comes out around midway through the race. It'll be interesting to see if that happens, and if something like that does happen, will it work out?
We'll definitely have to see. It worked out for Nathan Stapleton last night. However, in this race, the cars are going a little bit faster, and there are more on the racetrack, so definitely a big variable coming into this one, because we have never been here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series either, which is why we don't have pit stops. In the testing, they just didn't work out at all, but it'll still be a great race regardless, and there will be some passing on the racetrack as well, because we've got some great drivers starting up front, trying to get around Julius Anderson, who's starting on the pole for the second straight race this weekend. He has started on the pole for both North Wilkesboro races we've done so far this year. There will be a few more later on in the middle of June, but Julius Anderson's doing pretty well in qualifying at this racetrack, and he's taking that Hamel number 22 to the pole, and looking to get the race victory tonight, unlike last night where he dominated. But anyways, let's go ahead and give you guys the point standings here. John Andrews still holding on to the top position, 356 points towards the championship for him. Emily Anderson is 13 points behind. She's been doing a great job this season as a rookie driver. Two-time winner this season, Nathan Baird, is 22 points behind. Mark Davidson is 30 points behind. And Rookie of the Year contender Sebastian Kukulon, 36 points behind, coming into the 13th race of the season. We got 80 laps in this race, and we have Julius Anderson in the number 22 starting on the pole position. He is throwing back to the Days of Thunder 1990 scheme driven by Cole Trickle in that movie. I've never seen the movie myself, but you guys who have probably know that scheme very well, and you guys should know this scheme very well as well. Jeff Gordon's 2005 Flames DuPont machine drove when he won the Daytona 500 in 2005. That car is driven by Trey Bartow, driving the number 4 machine for Titan Fury Motorsports. Garrett Tenor, number 16, starting alongside Seth Cole, throwing back to Christian Fittibaldi's 2003 New York Yankees scheme. Definitely an obscure scheme there, but definitely a great one at that. Thanks to Angelo Alonso for painting a lot of these throwback schemes, by the way. He painted Julius Anderson's and Seth Cole's scheme for us for this race. Number 97, that's Stephen Thompson, on-show driver right there. He's alongside Brad Stover driving the 99, throwing back to Tony Kanon's livery. They drove in CART back in 2005. Row number 4, it's the number 12 machine of Michael Canto and the Dr. Pepper throwback. There's no set year for that throwback machine, but they are sponsored by Dr. Pepper, so they threw back to the old Dr. Pepper racing schemes from back in the day. He's alongside John Art in the 05. Andrew Miller starting alongside the 64 machine of Lucas Jacobson. Lucas Jacobson is throwing back to Shauna Robinson, 1994 scheme. Her first career pole in NASCAR, the first female driver to win a pole in NASCAR back in the day. So a lot of great throwback schemes in this race. We'll try to catch all of them throughout the event here tonight. It is only an 80-lap race, so it's not too long of an event. It will go by very fast, especially if we get a long green flag run. But we might not get a long green flag run on this one. We might see a few spins and bumps here tonight, as it's short track Friday night. Anything is possible here at this racetrack. So who do you think is going to get the race victory? Got a lot of veterans starting up front. Will Julius Anderson get some redemption from last night?
I do think, like you said, track position will be key to winning this race here tonight.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then you're picking Julius Anderson because he's got the best track position on the racetrack right now. Starting on the pole. Let's throw it back, guys. We're at North Wilkesboro, and we're green flag racing in the Southern States 400 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Julius Anderson will get a bonus point towards the championship right there. He leads lap number 1. Garrett Zenor gets to second. He gets around Trey Barcher for that position. Seth Cole from 4th to 3rd to the inside of Trey Barcher for that position right there. Remember, Seth Cole almost got the race victory at Rockingham, but lost at the Brazos Dover as he came down the pit lane. It's a little too late. Doesn't really have to worry about that here tonight, at least as much as he did at Rockingham, but like we said, last night, the tires definitely came into play for those guys who took them, and we might see that here tonight as well. Julius Anderson continuing to hold on to the race lead. Garrett Zenor, Seth Cole, Trey Bartow, and Michael Canto, the top 5, all veterans in the top 5 here at North Wilkesboro.
Very racy middle of the field. They're going 3 too wide back there, but we got some cars sliding off these corners. You can see some 3 riders there, 25 trying to get in the middle of that. That's some great racing back here, but these cars are sliding off the corners. Obviously, very little grip with the cold tires. Once you get further into the run, they might get a little more grip in them. But otherwise, some great racing back here. Look at that 3 wide.
Yeah, we got 3 wide. Sebastian Kukulan throwing back with the Valvoline scheme from Johnny Benson in 2003. Great throwback there for Type 3 Motorsports. There's Sergio Larvin Alonso going into the wall and around down the backstretch. Hard hit from Nicholas Samadillo. Cody Sill gets caught up in it as well. Oh, and that's just a heartbreaker for Sergio Larvin Alonso. He's throwing back there to Dave Marcis' 1970 scheme, and it's been a heavy couple of weeks for Alonso. His uncle, Ferdinand Gabat, who was a racer here on Napa Fan a couple of years ago, unfortunately passed away earlier in the month, and it's just been a tough week for Alonso, and unfortunately just got tougher for him right there. And the Coke 600 next week going to be honoring his uncle, driving number 63 for GL Racing, but tonight, not what he wanted in the number 30s. He went around there early on in the event. Hopefully they figure it all out here. The rest of the field, Julius Anderson's led every lap so far, very similar to last night. And Julius Anderson doing a good job here at North Wilkesboro. He's got this place figured out. Garrett Zenor is second. Seth Cole, Trey Bartow, Michael Canto still the top 5. Andrew Miller, Stephen Thompson, Nathan Baird, Zachary Fitzwater finished second last night in the throwback race. And then John are in top 10 right now here at North Wilkesboro. But Sergio Larvin Alonso going around in the number 30. He got clipped there by John Andrews. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the night in the Southern States 400. Well, we were focusing on it right here. They were 3 wide during turn number 1, and they continue to be 3 wide through the corner. And you see how these guys kind of close in on each other through the corner. They slide up. It's a slip and slide racetrack here in North Wilkesboro. But you had Sebastian Kukulan move to the inside there, and Alonso just could not get off the corner well. And John Andrews was to his outside. And a bit of a bump right there. Tristan Allen in the way, and there's just no room to correct a mistake like that. And that sent the number 30 of Sergio Larvin Alonso right around. Got back into John Andrews, sent him back around again. And then Nicholas Samadillo right into him in the number 30. Tough break for Samadillo right there. He might get some damage after that one. And Cody Sill throwing back to last year's scheme, the Blue Angels for the United States Navy. He got caught up in that one as well for Golden Motorsports. It's been a tough season for Cody Sill. And it's been a pretty good season for Sergio Larvin Alonso, but not going to be a good race for him in the number 30 machine here tonight.
So you see the 3 wide, 3 1 2. Kukulan slides up the racetrack a little bit, gave room for the 3 of Allen to go 4 wide basically, And then they just kind of pinch together. Around goes the 30 of Alonso, up into the wall hard, and collects some others as well. So tough break for Alonso and the others involved. They will have some damage at the back of this field.
Everyone should be able to continue. We'll have to check when we get to the restart, but a relatively mild accident, so thankfully not too many guys were involved, and leaders are still intact, and Julius Anderson, you know he's mad about losing that race last night, because he should have won it. You know, if you were watching that race last night, you probably would have figured, oh yeah, he's going to easily win this race, and out of nowhere, Nathan Stapleton comes and takes the lead away from him, and it's like, how in the world did that happen? How did I miss that? So Julius Anderson going to be a little bit more aware of that tonight. We'll have to see what the strategy call is for those guys, but now remember, nobody needs fuel, so you can go this whole race without coming down the pit lane, but there obviously is an advantage to doing so, so we'll have to see if anybody does so. We're going to definitely watch out for that here tonight. Julius Anderson, the race leader, let's see what he does on the restart here in the Southern States 400 from North Wilkesboro. Back here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, race 13 of the season in the 2019 Chick-fil-A Cup Series. It is Julius Anderson leading the field in the number 22. One guy, you know he wants this win. Garrett Sonor in the number 16 with Seth Cole and Trey Barter right behind him. A lot of veterans up front. Michael Canto, Andrew Miller, Stephen Thompson, Nathan Baird, Zachary Fitzwater, and John Arndt. A lot of experience out front. As a matter of fact, the only two rookies in the top 10 are Stephen Thompson and Nathan Baird, and one of those rookies has won twice this season in Nathan Baird, so we'll have to see what happens as this race goes along. 70 to go at North Wilkesboro. Julius Anderson trying to get the jump on Garrett Sonor, but he's not doing it. Right to the inside, 3 wide for the race lead. Seth Cole spinning Sonor around, and in the inside wall goes the number 16. Oh my, he's going to head down the pit lane. He's got some damage to the number 16 machine, and what a heartbreaker, for Garrett Sonor was running second at the time, and Seth Cole went in and spun him right around. Unbelievable.
Short track tempers.
Yep. Gonna be like that all night long. Wyatt Quayle with damage, and the number 33. See if anybody else had any damage. Trey Barch is going to be second now on the restart. Seth Cole fell back to 5th after all that, but Julius Anderson is like, I'll let you guys wreck, and I'll just continue to dominate this race like I did last night. Well, didn't expect that coming, but right after the restart, a spin off of turn 2. Let's go ahead and see what happened quickly here to bring out the second caution of the night in the Southern States 400. Julius Anderson slid up the racetrack. Garrett Sonor went and tried to take the position away, and so did Seth Cole, and Seth Cole slid right into the 16, and around he went. Absolute heartbreak for Garrett Sonor, who has not won in this series since season number 4. Well over 3 years for him. And he's been running very well as of late in this series as well, and he got hit right in the inside wall right there, and a lot of carnage, and we can't see him for Mr. Cameraman there, but that was all that occurred on that caution. However, I believe Wyatt Quayle might have also had some damage back in the field or something, because I don't know if they actually got to the restart well, because he was well behind after the wreck had happened. And this is what happened to Wyatt Quayle. He actually, on the restart, got into Patrick Smith, and then Stapleton hit him and went upside down a little bit. But that might have been what initially triggered the caution. We had 2 wrecks pretty much happen simultaneously on that lap. Definitely not the cleanest of restarts there, I can tell you that much. But yeah, get the idea. We'll replay that one more time for you guys.
So the cause of the actual caution was, in fact, this. 33 going around and up in the air a little bit. So very interesting crash. Then they see spin down the backstretch. A very aggressive race for the lead. Turned bad on the backstretch.
Tough break for Garrett Sonor. That's definitely the most heartbreaking of all that happened under that caution. Let's get a clean restart now, guys. That was definitely a bad one. Let's hope that they keep it clean for a while here, because we don't want a wreckfest race. We want to see these guys battle it out on this short track. It's the best place for it. It's the North Wilkesboro Speedway, historical racetrack, historical cars. Let's see what Julius Anderson does on the restart for the second time tonight at North Wilkesboro. We're back here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway in the Southern States 400, the throwback race of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season number 8, and Julius Anderson has led every lap so far. Very similar to what happened last night, but there's a few more laps in this one, and he didn't even get the win last night, so he's going to have to work hard with Trey Bartow right behind him. Michael Canto, Andrew Miller going for his first career Napa fan win. And same with Seth Cole going for his first career Napa fan win as well. They're the top 5. We're back to racing at North Wilkesboro.
Big jump there for Trey Bartow in second. He's looking to the inside, but he's not going to have enough of a run down the backstretch. They race single file. The 4 is close, though.
Trey Bartow might get it here on Anderson. Anderson way up the racetrack. Bartow's got to be careful not to get into him and spin him around. Thankfully, that will not happen, but Bartow is hungry for a race win. Remember at Dover, he almost got it, but Nathan Baird just had the faster race car at the end, and he got around him. Well, that was a very fast race car when Jeff Gordon drove it. Now Trey Bartow is driving it, and he's going for the race lead on Julius Anderson. And here's what we saw earlier on in the race yesterday. You got Andrew Ross and Nathan Stapleton coming down the pit lane now. They might be going for tires now. The thing is, it's under green, so they're going to end up a lap down. So I don't really understand why they're doing it now. But they might be going for tires now to possibly get an advantage on these guys. We're just going to have to see as this race goes along. But there goes Trey Bartow to the point here at North Wilkesboro. He's going to get a lap lead right there on lap 19.
They're side by side for second. Michael Canto to the inside. That's an aggressive move, but I think he has the advantage. But the 22 pulling tough on the top side. Almost clear. Anderson, but dives it hard. Gets up towards the wall. Canto, I think, has got that position. He's clear off turn 4.
Michael Canto clears for the second position. John Art way loose off the corner. He's going to lose some momentum there off of Seth Cole and Nathan Baird. Here comes Brad Stowe to the inside of him. Go over a couple more throwbacks here. Number 15 of Matthew Phillips throwing back to the 2000 Dodge Viper from the Rolex 24 in 2000. Oh, Michael Canto got spun off there. Oh, he's got to be careful coming back up here. Got clipped off there by Julius Anderson, I believe, and he's got some left side damage to his race car. Tough break there for Michael Canto. Nathan Baird going to go 3 wide on him to the inside of Michael Canto and Stephen Thompson. They got to be careful.
Oh,
boy, bumping off the corner, but they keep it together. Great racing here at North Wilkesboro for the 4th position. But as you can see, they pull away if you do that. They battle for 3rd like that, and the guys in front of them pull away from them, so you got to get out of that 3 wide situation pretty quick. And Canto way up. He got him to Stephen Thompson. Got to be careful here. But they're going to keep it together for now.
Some short track racing, bumping and banging, beating and banging. And out of all that, Canto's losing some time. Obviously, that left side damage probably affecting him. Put him on the outside. Now he's dropping back. He's going to fall outside the top 5 area and possibly outside the top 10. So we'll get 3 wide again.
Daniel McMillan to the inside. Stephen Thompson and Michael Canto there. McMillan throwing back to Kevin Harvick's Winston West scheme from 1997. And you might have seen that scheme in the Truck Series race last night as well. So Adam Lewis drives this scheme in the Truck Series. But here in the Cup Series, a throwback for Daniel McMillan and the Hers Toyota. Well, back to the race lead. Trey Bartow continues to dominate. He's in a pretty good position right now. Nobody alongside him. Andrew Miller looking to close in on Julius Anderson, and he might get to him here. At 47 looking pretty fast right now. Nathan Baird running 4th, and Brad Stover up to the 5th position. Remember, Brad Stover won at Rockingham earlier this season. And of course, Nathan Baird's won twice this season, won in Atlanta and Dover. Been the best rookie so far this season in that number 40 machine.
Battle for second. Andrew Miller is there on Julius Anderson. He wants that second position in case the yellow comes out. Seems like the best place to restart. He's looking on Anderson. Couldn't quite get there, but I think his car's a little bit better. That 22 might be going away on the longer haul. He's still looking to the inside, but 22's doing a good job just holding off on the bottom lane.
Andrew Miller is one of these guys who has never won before in Napa fan. He's been racing for quite a while. He's full-time last year in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, full-time this year. Made a lot of starts, but yet to get a race victory. But, I mean, you got to think, even for Trey Bartow, for Julius Anderson, there's a lot to be redeemed from all 3 of these guys. I mean, Bartow hasn't won since Season 5 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. It's been a long time for him. Julius Anderson should have won the race last night, and it slipped away from him as those guys took tires and drove right by him. And Andrew Miller's never won before in Napa fan, so all 3 of these guys have a high motivator to win this race here tonight. And they're really battling hard, but Bartow's doing the best of it right now in the number 4 for Titan Fury Motorsports. And Titan Fury looking to get their 2nd win of the season. They got the win with Brad Stover at Rockingham. And Igor Breto's team looking pretty strong with their veteran driver of Trey Bartow.
We have a lapper ahead. I don't know if he's slower or just came off the pit lane. But that could play into it, depending on how that forward Trey Bartow gets around him. If he can get around him nice and cleanly, it's going to be fine. But if he holds him up, if he's run just a little bit slower, that will be an issue.
That's Nathan Stapleton, who's a lap down. Guys who are a lap down include Andrew Ross, Wyatt Quayle, Nathan Stapleton, and the 6 of Fisher G. Roger Ray is out of the race in the 24. He must have had a mechanical issue. He's 18 laps down. Tough break for Roger Ray. But Trey Bartow holding on to the race lead right now. And this is very reminiscent of Dover. The thing with Bartow here, though, he doesn't really have to worry about the tires as much. Now, I know we're referencing last night's race, but it's not going to be the kind of thing where he has to make a pit stop and has to worry about messing a pit stop up. He can just stay out there and run his race right now and run his pace. However, he might want to try to save the tires a little bit because you never know when somebody can come around with fresh tires and battle for the race lead. But right now it's looking good for Trey Bartow in the number 4, as they've pretty much figured it out throughout the top few positions here on the racetrack. Got a battle right here. Riley Spurley. Haven't really seen much of him this season in number 39, but he's to the inside of Seth Cole right there. That is for the 7th position. Mitchell Henderson, our last winner here in the Chick-fil-A Cup. He's got the win at Kansas last weekend. He's inside the top 10. And Zachary Fitzwater finished in the 2nd position last night. He took tires along with Nathan Stapleton. He's right now running in the 10th position. Matthew Phillips there. Lucas Jacobson, 97 machine of Stephen Thompson, Silas Orta, Carter Friesen. John Hart won the throwback race last year, but he wasn't driving a throwback then. But technically you can say this is a throwback to John West Townley. We got a big issue right there with Seth Cole. He got way loose off the corners. He was battling with Riley Spurley. And now we got 3 wide. Fitzy to the inside of Cole and Henderson.
The aggressive move by Fitzy there. 3 wide to turn number 3. They backed it out there to make it 2 wide. I think he's going to get both those positions. Great job by Fitzwater there. Big move.
He did a great job last night in the Throwback Series race, and he's doing another great job here looking for a top 10. It might be going for his first top 10 of the season. Maybe. I can't quite remember, but it's not been a good season for Zachary Fitzwater, but he's got a good race going for him right now here inside the top 10 in the Southern States 400.
Back here, these guys are sliding off turn 4.
There goes Davidson and Christian Master. They kept it together, however. And we've been seeing a lot of them in this race so far, but they haven't been wrecking, which is great to see. But that was really close right there between Mark Davidson and Christian Master. A lot of these guys in the back of the field. But they just almost lost it again. More throwbacks in this race. You got Matt Dallio on the number 79, throwing back to Cale Yarbrough, 1976 Valvoline scheme. This is probably the best throwback out there, in my opinion. You got the 04 John Andrews throwing back to Richard Petty's Superbird. John Andrews, our points leader in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. He is currently running in the 21st position. Not too bad. He should be able to remain in the points lead at the end of the event. Got one really cool throwback here with Alexander Rowe. He's got some damage, unfortunately, but Alexander Rowe throwing back to Mark Martin's All-Star scheme from 1998. Jesse Turner with a way throwback, throwing back to the first ever champion of NASCAR, Red Byron, driving the number 77 there. Might not notice it, but on the, oh boy, what's it called? Above the driver's door right there, it says, built by Red, whatever the guy's name is. I'm very sorry I can't pronounce it, but that's exactly what Red Byron's championship scheme was in 1949, and Hairgel did this one for us, and once again, huge thanks to Hairgel Arvin Alonso for painting a lot of these throwback schemes for us. Garrett Sonora's fallen back here in the number 16. He's fallen all the way back to the 31st position after he was second when he got spun around. There's Ace Garcia in the number 81. This one's a cool throwback here, throwing back to the 1999 Mark Green scheme, the Dr. Pepper Racing organization. Not a good day for Ace Garcia, though, on the racetrack, as he is currently 32nd. Josh Marzek throwing back to Trey Wright's first ever Enter 3 win. It's in a truck that looked just like this. Like I said, Cody Still throwing back to the scheme he had last year with America's Navy and the Blue Angels. And then Andrew Ross throwing back to the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt, number 35. Well, Trey Bartow still leads. Here comes the 22 of Julius Anderson. They're closing in on Nathan Stapleton, who is now 2 laps down in the 28 after he won last night. And Julius Anderson's like, who's the better driver now? Going around him and putting him another lap down.
For Julius Anderson, he's made up some progress on that number 4 car. Looks like his car's come to life here. He has gained a few tenths on Trey Bartow. We'll see if he can get to him, try and maybe move him out of the way.
We'll We'll have to see. It's very possible. He can't count on another caution either. We've been green for quite a while. Longest green flag run of the night right here. But I can tell you, Trey Bartow is itching to get a race victory here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. It's been so long for him. And he's been in every single Chick-fil-A Cup Series race driving the same number. Been in that number 4 his entire career. Andrew Miller is third. Nathan Baird closing in on him for the third position. And still Brad Stover, Daniel McMillan, Riley Spurley, Mitchell Henderson. Matthew Phillips is inside the top 10. And now Lucas Jacobson rounding out the top 10 in the 64. Fitzwater's falling back a little bit. And John Andrews in the inside wall. You got to be careful here. He's going to slide up entering the corner. Here comes Kukulon and now they're 3 wide there with Kukulon to the inside of Roberts and the 04 John Andrews.
3 wide, the pushing point right here. They sorted out back to single file. They're lucky there to do that, but we've been seeing this car slide off turn 4 again to the inside wall. If that happens in the wrong spot, the wrong place, wrong time, that could result in a yellow and shake up this whole race, change the whole race around.
Fitzwater's fallen back quite a bit here. He's now 16th. Matt Dalio's in 15th right now. But, Michael Cantor's another guy who fell back tremendously. He's down to 18th now as he was running inside the top 5 earlier on in this race. These guys still battling. John Andrews on Justin Roberts. You got this 13 of Sebastian Kukulon trying to get around the 04 here. Kukulon's been running a clean race so far. No damage on that race car. Gonna have a lot of cars with significant damage at the end of the night here at North Wilkesboro. I will say that much, but other than that, it's been a pretty clean one here. We've only had 2 cautions so far after 51 laps, but I wouldn't count on another caution from happening. I really think another one's going to happen before the end of the race. We have 29 laps to go here in the Southern States 400 at North Wilkesboro.
That gap stabilizing at the front. Trey Bartow keeping a nice gap on Julius Anderson. Anderson can't really close in that much, but one mistake out of that 4 car, 1 lap car, could change the 4's distance back to the 22. Anderson just hoping for that mistake to come. He wants redemption from last night. He wants it badly here tonight in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series.
He definitely does. And we're getting to the point, if we get a caution right now, if I'm one of those guys in, from 15th on down or something like that, I'm coming down for fresh tires. Because, we saw what happened last night with those guys. They just clawed their way through the field. This is an old surface, and it eats the tires up quite a bit. So, fresh tires mean a lot here, but there really isn't a good opportunity to take them, only unless it's under a caution, and you're willing to give up your positions on the racetrack. So, that's why Nathan Stapleton, Zagger Fitzwater did it. They were midway through the field last night when they did it, so they really didn't have anything to lose, and they really paid off. It really paid off really good for both of them, so watch out for that. But watch out for Julius Anderson. He's closing back in on Trey Bartow for this race lead. I'm wondering if Anderson has the better race car on the long run, and we've had a long run going here at North Wilkesboro, so watch out here for Julius Anderson possibly taking the race lead away from number 4 Trey Bartow here. Bartow's slipping up just a little bit, and Anderson's got the inside pretty well.
That 4 looking tight through the center of the corner. He keeps pushing up on both ends. It might only be a matter of time before that 22 plows his way through, gets through to the lead, but once again, catching is one thing, passing is another.
It definitely is, especially on a short track. Passing at a short track is very, very difficult. Looks like we've kind of figured it out single file throughout a lot of this field, but it doesn't mean that they're going to get double wide at any point throughout this field again. But it might mean we might not end up with another caution. They seem to be running pretty clean right now, so we'll just have to see how it all goes down. Only 2 cautions so far on this race, and they all both happened early on. Here goes Yepez to the inside of Andrew Ross. Ross is slipping up. You got to watch out for this right here. I believe Ross is a lap down back in here. As the tires wear out, the more these guys are going to slip and slide off the corners, so watch out for that as well. Oh boy, Lucas Jacobson getting in the Matthew Phillips right there, and that's what I'm talking about. It can happen anywhere where a move like that, a bump like that goes wrong, and the caution comes out. You just never know when it's going to happen, but let me tell you this. I think Julius Anderson wants it to stay green, because I think he might be able to get around Trey Bartow on the racetrack itself.
Yeah, he's stalking him. He has no one behind to pressure him, so he can try some different things out. He's not losing much time. He's right in the bumper of that 4 car. He wants it badly. He's trying to get there. He's trying to get to the bumper of that 4 car, maybe push Bartow up the racetrack. But right now, Trey's doing a great job just staying out front and controlling his own race. He can't worry about that 22 behind him. He has to run his own lines, make sure that he can get through the corners the way he wants to.
Both of these guys have a lot of motivation to win this race. Like you mentioned, Julius Anderson from last night, Trey Bartow. It's been since 2016 since he's won here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, so Oh no!
Oh,
Julius
no!
Anderson, blown engine on the number 22. Boy.
From last night,
This might bring out the yellow, too, if he doesn't get back to the pit lane. Depends on where he stops on the racetrack. Absolutely unbelievable. He started on the pole for both races this weekend, and he isn't going to win either one of them after leading a ton of laps. No caution. He was on the apron when it happened, so the yellow will not come out. Unbelievable. And Trey Bartow, thank his lucky stars, he was ahead of the 22 there, not right behind him when it happened. And look at the lead he has now. Andrew Miller, now the hunter in the number 47. 1.29 seconds behind leader Trey Bartow. What a heartbreaker for a pole sitter, Julius Anderson.
Yeah, like he said, heartbreak. He was looking for that redemption. Best form of redemption is to go out and win. Oh, the car in the wall.
Alonso hit it hard. Been a tough night for the number 30. He's actually on the tail end of the lead lap here, so he's actually yet to go a lap down. He's 36 right now, and Bartow's going to drive right by him here.
Another thing for Trey, he's not won this race yet. There's he's catching the tail end of the field, so if he gets caught in the lap traffic the wrong way, Miller gained a 10th last lap, so it's not over yet. Trey Bartow needs to get through this lap traffic and hold this lead.
He definitely does. The thing is, there's only now 14 laps to go in this race, so the laps are clicking down quickly here at North Wilkesboro. And Bartow's got to get around Alonso cleanly. He's got to be careful, too, because we saw Alonso overshoot that corner like crazy. He can come back down and hit the 4. He's going to get around him right here. Alonso way up the racetrack again, but he'll avoid the wall that time, and Bartow will drive right by. It could be the day for Trey Bartow. And for guys like Bartow, and Sam Adio, and Dalio, and Sinor, and Christian Master, those 5 guys all have the longest losing streaks in this series. None of them have won in a long time. But I think if you're guys like Trey Bartow, or if you guys like Matt Dalio, Nicholas Amadio, Christian Master, Matt Dalio, I think seeing Trey Bartow get this win is a good sign for you. And I think they want to see Bartow get this win as well, because he's one of those guys. One of those guys who has, taken a long time since his last win. It's been a long time for him, and it brings hope to guys like Garrett Tenor, Matt Dalio, Nicholas Amadio, to getting a race win this season.
The veteran trying to prove he still has it. Coming around to 10 to go at the start-finish line. Looking for his first win since 2016 on Napa Fan. Can he get it done? Or will something happen like we saw at the 22? We don't know what's going to happen. 10 to go.
We don't. And anything's possible in these last 10 laps. Of course, been since 2016 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series since Trey Bartow's won. He has won a few races since then, but in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, it has been since Season 5 at Boston. Very long time since his last victory, so he's hoping that he can hold his ground these last 9 laps and come in with the victory. But you got to think, with Andrew Miller, he's never won before in Napa Fan. He wants to get around Alonso here and close right in the Bartow and have a shot. And you got to watch out for Sam Badillo and Cody Sill here. I believe Trey Bartow might close in on these guys before the race is over. That might be a factor. Miller's going to finally get to the inside of Alonso. That held him up quite a bit there. But Miller now has a clean racetrack ahead of him. In between him and Trey Bartow actually closed in a little bit that last lap. So watch out for Andrew Miller. He might have a little bit left in his race car to get by the 4.
7 laps, he's going to need some help from outside sources other than the 4 car. He's going to need Bartow to make a mistake, or those 2 lap cars we see in front to hold up Trey Bartow. But right now, that 4 is a nice, comfortable lead. As long as nothing happens like we saw at the 22, it could be his, but also has that the caution could come out within this next lap and change things.
It definitely could, but we're closing in on the window. If we get a caution, the race is going to end. So it's looking better and better every lap for Trey Bartow in the number 4. Almost got the win at Dover, but lost out to Nathan Baird. This time, he's got a solid lead. Can he hold off Andrew Miller? I don't really think Miller's closing in, though, so it's like you said, it's going to take an outside source, an outside force to take Trey Bartow out of this contention for the race win. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but you get what I'm trying to say. 5 laps to go in North Wilkesboro. If we get a caution, the race is over.
We almost saw that outside force up there with cars out of control. We got cars getting into the inside wall. I mean, they're racing like crazy. There's still positions up for grabs for these drivers, so they're going to be racing hard. Bart needs to be careful if anything happens to get around it.
A couple of teammates there at Dirk Motor Racing, Jonathan Skanicki and Garrett Senor. And there's a lot of cars up front here. And, Trey Bartow is lucky that, this race is almost over, because if we still had to play like 20 laps to go, he'd probably have to run into all these guys. But that's not the case. Coming to 3 laps to go for Trey Bartow at the North Wilkesboro Speedway.
The veteran, 3 laps away, looking for another Chick-fil-A Cup Series win. To go. He has a nice gap in Andrew Miller. Just has to hit his marks. Doesn't have to even worry about these lap cars in front of him. As long as they don't wreck, he doesn't even have to get up into them and start balancing them.
Oh, Samadillo around in the 48. The caution's going to come out. That's going to do it. Oh, that was close. That was so close there for Trey Bartow. Almost got caught up in that, but this is going to be it. As long as he races it clean right here and does not wreck on the cool-down lap, we're going to follow him this whole time by. White flag for Trey Bartow under caution. That's going to do it. And as long as he gets back around, Trey Bartow is going to get another Chick-fil-A Cup Series race victory here tonight in the Southern States 400. All he's got to do is drive that car to the finish line, and it's his from North Wilkesboro.
Crazy what we see out of these races at the end. You just never know. That almost cost Trey Bartow the win, but he's coming off turn 4, checker flag in sight. He's going to win again.
Trey Bartow, it's been since 2016. He finally wins again in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Trey Bartow wins the Southern States 400 at North Wilkesboro. Sweet redemption for Trey Bartow after Dover a couple of weeks ago. He's back in victory lane in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and in dominating fashion as well, leading the most laps of the night here around this 0.625 mile racetrack.
Always love seeing losing streaks end. We saw that here tonight. Trey Bartow winning.
How about that for Trey Bartow in the number 4? Great to say that name back in victory lane again. Oh boy, it's been a long time, my friend, but you earned it. And long enough, man. Number 4 is back in victory lane. But I'm telling you, Andrew Miller, he was wishing his former teammate was going to run right into the 4 there, and he would have had the win, but just not enough. Oh boy, let's go ahead and see what happened there, right on the final lap to bring out the final caution of the night here at North Wilkesboro. Well, to the inside of Cody's Hill went Nicholas Samadillo, hit the wall, spun around. It actually wasn't that close to Trey Bartow, but I'm sure Andrew Miller wished he came up just a little bit more and hit that forward. But either way, Trey Bartow earned this win here tonight. And right here, racing back to the line, taking it away. And very dominating performance here in North Wilkesboro for the Titan Fury Motorsports driver. But I think this is a big thing for Trey Bartow. Last season, he was on a single-car team. They really couldn't figure much out. He moved to Titan Fury beginning this season, and that team won the Owners' Championship last year. And I think that move has made all the difference for Trey Bartow. They're starting to click back in the gear for that number 4 team. And Agar Barreto got his throwback scheme in the victory lane. That's pretty cool right there for the Jeff Gordon 2005 throwback machine driven by Trey Bartow. And right there, the official finish of the race, Bartow taking the checkered flag in the 13th race of the season. And a lot of guys finished a lap down because of when that caution came out, but they all finished in their respective positions, so it didn't really affect much in the championship standings, but wasn't as crazy as last night's race near the end, but still a good one, especially back in the field. This one was a lot like Richmond was, only we did have a change for the lead and the pole sitter. Ended up blowing his engine, so it was definitely better than Richmond was earlier this season, but maybe not the best race we've seen. But I think Trey Bartow loved it because it's been a long, long time for that guy, and I love seeing that name at number 1. Sorry, I'm a little biased. He's one of the original drivers on this channel, and it's great to still have him here. He's been in every season, and he's in victory lane here at North Wilkesboro. But how about that race, man? Very interesting what we saw here tonight around this historical racetrack.
Oh, it was very interesting indeed. We never knew what was going to happen. We thought it was going to be a battle between Anderson and Bartow. Anderson ended up blowing a piston, as we see right there, and changed the whole complexity of the race for sure. And then Bartow almost wrecked with coming to 2 to go. So we just never knew what was going to happen. Very interesting race for sure. We saw great battles throughout the field as well.
We did, and all those lap down cars don't do justice, because they were actually all technically on the lead lap. Just when the caution came out kind of affected all that there, but wow, that was definitely something else. Pretty good for a short track, and Trey Bartow finally got in, and like I was mentioning, with Trey Bartow, Matt Dallio, Garrett Sonora especially, Tristan Allen, I completely forgot about Tristan Allen. It gives hope to those guys in going to victory lane this season, because all those guys, it's been forever since they've won in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, but now one of them has finally gone back to victory lane, ending the long losing streak, and that's a good sign for Trey Bartow. It's a good sign for guys like Matt Dallio and Tristan Allen and Garrett Sonora, and I can't tell you just how happy I am for Trey Bartow finally getting another race win with this. I think this is his 17th career win on Appafan for Trey Bartow. But it has been a long time. I don't even think he won a race last year, but he's back in the shape. And it's great to see that here tonight at North Wilkesboro. And it was a pretty good race, all things considered. But next week, I think we're going to have an even better race. The Coke 600. Another 80-lap race, but that racetrack is 1.5 miles long at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And last year, Christian Vargas took the race victory in that one. That's going to be next Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Right after the Indianapolis 250. Next Saturday, going to be a huge day on Appafan. Indy 250 and the Coke 600. 370 miles of racing all in one day right here on this channel. And I hope you guys stick around for it. It's going to be great. But thank you so much for joining me, Joe. Great to have you as a Coke commentator. You're probably one of the best Coke commentators around. And I love it. And thank you so much for joining me in this race. And congratulations to Trey Bartow on his race victory here tonight at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, his first since 2016 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. So here are the point standings. We're going to have to see who's the new points leader. John Anders finished 19th. I venture to say he'd still be in the points lead, but maybe not by much. So you guys will see who's in contention for the lead heading into Charlotte next week. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at Charlotte next week in the Coke 600. But on behalf of Joe Rakowski, thank you guys so much for watching, and congratulations to Trey Bartow for winning here at North Wilkesboro. I will see you guys later.